I'm Roger Thurow. I'm a senior fellow at the Chicago Council on Global Affairs, but I'm also an author. And the current book that I did, which was delightfully funded and supported at the beginning of my travels from the Pulitzer Center, is on the first 1,000 days. And that's the time from when a woman becomes pregnant to the second birthday of her child. And those 1,000 days are critical, probably the most critical time, important time of individual human development, and nutrition is really important at that period. So that's what the book's about. So as part of the 1,000 days, there's an emphasis on the nutritious value of food. So these moms in Uganda, they're part of a program called Harvest Plus, biofortification, where through conventional breeding, you increase essential nutrients that are already in the plant. So that's why it's just conventional breeding. It's not GMOs, or you're not introducing things, you're just raising the level of the nutrients that are in there. So malnourished, in most cases, it can either be an absence or a lack of food, a lack of calories, missing calories, insufficient calories to lead kind of an active life, or it's a micronutrient deficiency. So you're not getting the minerals, the vitamins, the nutrients that you need for proper physical development and mental development, and for the strengthening of the immune system. Malnutrition is also overweight and obesity. So you can be both obese or overweight and malnourished in the same body. So it's not an undernourishment, but again, it's a lack of proper nourishment. And when you think of malnourishment, more than half the people on our planet today are malnourished. Stunting then is kind of the way that you measure malnutrition, or one way to measure it. You're too small for your age. But it's not only that, stunting, you can also be stunted mentally. If certain functions aren't performed or connections aren't developed in the brain, it's hard to reverse that and to establish them later on. So overall, globally, 1 in every 4 children in the world under 5 today is stunted. So the impact is like when you throw a stone into a pond and all these ripples come out from the stone hitting the pond. It ripples from the individual, who's going to probably spend less time in school and the learning capacity is restricted or stunted. His family is impacted because this child is not going to be able to probably earn as much later in life, probably have more sickness and chronic diseases, so the healthcare bill goes up. That healthcare bill then also extends to the entire country. Productivity is less if you have so many stunted children, because the greatest impact of this, or the ultimate ripple that then comes out of this pebble of malnutrition and stunting in a pond, is the opportunity cost. That what might a stunted child have achieved? What might a child have accomplished that would benefit all of us if they weren't stunted? So how do I bring this 1,000 days to life? Through storytelling. And so I figured what I should do is follow moms and then their children through this 1,000 days. There's this one woman who, she was in the field and she was tending to peas, and then there were some green beans. And she was pregnant. So it was like, oh, it's a 1,000 days lesson. So are you growing these for yourself? Do you eat these? Oh, no, I don't eat these, but I'm told that other people do. So what happens with these when you harvest them? There's a truck comes by on the road over there. We load them on the truck and they're taking them off to some places to these people who, I understand, eat these things. Well, what do you eat? Corn, maize, beans. And so that's their staple diet. So they're growing all these things that they may end up in shelves in Whole Foods or American stores that we clamor for, and they're being grown by farmers whose kids are malnourished and stunted. So I follow the moms and their children through the 1,000 days in Uganda, India, Guatemala, and Chicago. And Chicago, because I wanted to make the point, look, this isn't just a problem that's over there somewhere. It's really a fundamental problem for us in the United States. So in each of the countries, there were organizations that were on the ground that were already doing some kind of nutrition work in the communities. And a lot of times I told them, and so they were expecting that I would come, so there were like groups of women who were pregnant. And then it was a matter of meeting them, talking to them. You could already start to see who was willing to engage with me and talk. And I said, here's my idea and what I want to do, and kind of follow you then and your family through this 1,000 days. So till the time the child is 2. And then you could see, okay, which moms were then enthused about being that and being part of that. But there were moments of, yeah, great joy, and then also moments of deep sorrow. This is one of the great challenges of the world that we can all have an impact on, and we can conquer malnutrition. We know how to do it. The other thing I think is that to kind of engage decision makers, policy makers, and say, this is important to me. This is important to us as a community. Let's do something, on this. Let's support our nutrition programs in this country. We don't have to tolerate these things in the world. We don't have to tolerate that 1 in every 4 children are stunted, or that more than half the population of the planet is malnourished in some way. I think Nelson Mandela said that, sometimes it falls on a generation to do great things. Well, generation, this is your challenge. Let's solve the problem of malnutrition and hunger. Thank you.